Ma'am? Yeah, stay behind the red there.
Why would you want to do that? You should just show him a little attitude about his hair. Oh, that's wonderful. Before he goes
And once they bring the locomotive to a complete stop, you will hear one whistle. And then the fireman will set the brake on the locomotive, and then the crew will transfer over to the Jupiter and get that one ready to run a demonstration run as well. So the Vice President of the Union Pacific Railroad, Thomas Doc Grant, had chosen another locomotive to bring him here to Promontory. The name or number of that locomotive is unknown to us. As they were approaching Piedmont, Wyoming, just east of present-day Evanston, word got out to a bunch of angry, unpaid tie cutters who had not been paid in several months that one of the head honchos of the Union Pacific was coming their way. And if you'd not been paid in several months, you'd probably try to get your boss's attention, wouldn't you? And so that's what they did. They actually forced him onto a sidetrack and came him down for 2 days. The original date of the driving of the glass spike was supposed to have been on May 8th of 1869. The main golden spike was made before the ceremony. If you look at it, it is inscribed with the date of May 8th on it. Well, finally, money was able to be wired out, so they finally let him loose. Well, that was not their only mishap. As they were coming down the Weaver River Canyon east of Ogden, as the engineer approached the bridge at Devil's Gate, the river was quite swollen from snow melting early May. And as the engineer approached that rickety old trestle, he did not think the trestle could hold the weight of the locomotive. So eventually they pulled the cars to a stop. It was decided to go ahead and push the passenger cars across the bridge, which they did, and then a wire was sent down to Ogden to send up a rescue locomotive. Well, the next locomotive sitting in line in the roundhouse ready to go was 119. It came to the rescue and brought the Union Pacific dignitaries here to Promontory Summit, albeit 2 days late. And that's why the ceremony happened on May 10th of 1869 and not on May 8th. So in just a moment here, we'll be running the Jupiter and do a safety check.
Is that one good?
In just a moment, we will be running the Jupiter down to the end of the track and then bringing it back. A lot of you were asking a little bit about the difference between burning wood versus burning coal, or vice versa. As I mentioned with 119, a full tender of coal can get you about 100 miles down the track. A full tender of wood, which would be 3/4 of wood stacked about cab height of the Jupiter, that could get you about 30 miles down the track. Each tender has about a 2,000-gallon water tank in it. And it does not matter what you were burning, the 2,000 gallons of water had to be refilled every 15 to 30 miles. So the railroad went where there was water, and it followed the water source. As you look at the Jupiter locomotive, she was a passenger locomotive for the Central Pacific Railroad and eventually the Southern Pacific. Eventually, she was remodeled and revised and sold to the Gila Valley Railroad out of Arizona, where she lived the rest of her day. Looks like we are ready to go here with the Jupiter, so we'll go ahead and highball the Jupiter and get on our way. Jupiter was sold to the Gila Valley Railroad out of Arizona. And then when it was no longer needed, shortly after the turn of the century of 1900, was sold for scrap metal at the going rate of $1,000. The original 119 also was revised and remodeled to the number 343, and like her sister, the Jupiter, after the turn of the century of 1900, the style of locomotive was pretty much obsolete and sold for scrap metal for the going rate of $1,000. The original Jupiter was built by Schenectady Locomotive Works out of Schenectady, New York. She was then put on a ship, sent down the Hudson River out into the Atlantic Ocean, was shipped clear around Cape Horn at the tip of South America, into the Pacific Ocean, all the way up to San Francisco, and then finally ferried up the river to the Central Pacific Railhead in Sacramento. No iron-producing factories existed in California in the mid-1800s. So pretty much all of the Central Pacific's locomotives, all of their rails, all of their spikes, all of their cars were all manufactured on the East Coast and then shipped around to the West Coast. So talk about the logistics problem of trying to get supplies to where you needed them. Once the Jupiter comes to a stop, you will hear one whistle, and then two whistles will bring her back forward. There's the stop whistle. There's our two forward whistles. You may see a blow down here done by the Jupiter. The engineer crew usually does one. Let's see if they do one today. There you can see the blow down being done where they're blowing some hard water sediment out of the boiler. Our locomotives only run on about 1.5 miles of track, so they do blow downs periodically. You may see another one too. And then as the Jupiter comes down the line here, she'll blow some whistles here as she approaches the switch and as she comes on in. And then the Jupiter also was not the original locomotive chosen to be here. And once she comes to a stop, I'll tell you how she got to be here. She has an interesting story as well. And once the locomotive does come to a complete stop, you'll of course hear the one whistle for stop. Fireman is setting the brake and getting down and putting a chain around the wheel. We'll tell you the story of the Jupiter. Governor Leland Stanford, president of the Central Pacific Railroad Company, had chosen the locomotive Antelope to bring his special car here to Promontory for the joining of the rail. The Jupiter was the first of two trains coming towards this area, with the Antelope pulling Governor Stanford's special car being pulled behind them. As they were passing through Wadsworth, Nevada, in the mountains near there were still some workers working on the rail line. And as the Jupiter passed with her cars, they did raise a green flag signaling to the workers another train was coming behind them. However, the workers were not expecting another train and probably therefore didn't see the flag. So after the Jupiter passed with her car, several logs were rolled down onto the track. And as you can imagine, when Governor Stanford's special train, the Antelope, came around the bend, it rammed into one of those logs. Unable to continue the rest of the way to Promontory with a damaged locomotive, the Antelope, the Jupiter was eventually called back, and Governor Stanford took up his car to the Jupiter, and the Jupiter, like the 119, found her spot in history by being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.